The finals has 3 main builds in the game, and we're going to go over the perfect beginner build for each class, that being medium, heavy, and light. Let's just start with medium. The medium build excels in mid-range combat, average health and movement speeds, specializes in healing or providing support. This is a great go-to starter build if you're just hopping into the finals, and if you do it right, everyone will love you. I'm serious. I call this medium build pure support. Specialization healing beam, a beam that gives health directly to another teammate. Everyone loves a heal beam on their team, okay? A heal beamer. For the weapon, AKM, you can't go wrong. This is the standard medium build gun that is always in the meta. Fully automatic assault rifle, mag size 32, reload speed 2.3 seconds. For the first gadget, I would recommend defibrillator. If you don't run defibrillator as a medium, people are gonna hate your guts. And normally I don't run it, just so y'all know. But we're talking about the best beginner builds. Defib up there, bro. Defibrillator when charged can be used on fallen teammate statues to revive them instantly. So instant revive instead of having to sit there and wait for like 15 seconds while you get the res. Gadget number 2, we have the frag grenade. You can't go wrong with a frag, bro. You need some crowd control. Frag grenade, thrown projectile that explodes shortly after release, can be thrown underhand or overhand. Can't go wrong with a frag. Finally, you need some movement. You need to be able to move your team fast around the map, and that's why we're running zip line. Fires at a targeted surface and anchors a rope that can be used to traverse arenas easily. You can basically set up zips wherever you want. This is key. This build is great for getting started because, like I said, all your teammates will literally love you. If you're a healing defibber medium, you cannot go wrong. That's the most supportive build in the game. Your teammates go down, you can res them easily. You can heal your heavy. You have the AKM, which is a large mag, spray and pray on dudes, and a nice little frag for crowd control, and using a zipline to get to the cash boxes quickly. Can't go wrong with this build. Now let's move on to the heavy build. High survivability, low movement speed, specializes in demolition and fortifications. This is the least run build in the game. Most people do not run heavy. I bet you a lot of beginners are not gonna pick heavy, but I mean, it's a great build. Heavies are needed. They have the highest win rate in the game, if you didn't know. I'd call this heavy build, I'm coming for your head top. Now, I feel like my heavy build and my light, which we'll get to later, are both a little controversial on whether they're best for beginners. But I feel like with heavy, if you can get used to this, it's a pretty solid build. Specialization, charge and slam, a charge to propel you forward to break through walls and obstacles, or to slam the ground if activated in the air. Deals damage to opponents. Arguably the best, the freaking best specialization on heavy, in my opinion. You'd be surprised the damage that you can deal with a charge and slam and running at dudes, bro. It's crazy. At the weapon, we have the sledgehammer, and you already know I got my Holoto sledgehammer. A melee weapon and a tool that destroys the arena itself, can also perform a secondary overhead attack. So R2 will give you the normal swing attack with the sledgehammer, and L2 will do an overhead boom, which like one-shot slides and does very heavy damage. I found myself going around opponents and doing that from behind. You know, I like that. As our first gadget, we have another frag. I'm not gonna lie, another frag grenade in there because you can't go wrong. You know, can't go wrong with frag grenade. Thrown projectile that explodes shortly after release, can be thrown underhand or overhand, just like medium. You need a nice little crowd control. You can't go wrong with a frag. And you're using sledge, so you want a little bit of range damage. The frag gives you that. Gadget number 2, we have the barricade. Now, I feel like a lot of people would say, why don't you have dome shields? Why don't you have dome shield? The dome shield, I find nowadays, gets broken too easily. At the start of the game, like last year, season 1, friggin' dome shield was a necessary heavy gadget, but because you can just shoot it down pretty quick, barricades are super nice. You set up on a point, you can barricade doorways, you can barricade for your teammates. Very useful in supporting your light and your mediums that are most likely gonna have guns. And our final gadget, RPG-7, fires long range, high explosive rockets that detonate on impact. Like I said, we're using sledgy, so we need another option of long range damage and a way to shoot a point down if we need to, and that's where the RPG comes into play. Definitely not as much damage as it used to have, but it's still great. Bop, shoot at a bunch of teammates, or like make them panic real quick, just shoot them up. This build pairs very well with a medium defibbing healer. I kind of made these 3 builds to go along with each other. Holy crap, man. If you're getting healed up with this build and you're running frag RPG charge, oh my dude, you'll be a threat. People will run away from you. A lot of people say, hey, Josh, why don't you have winch instead of charge? I just like the charger slam, bro. And I feel like if you can master it, it's pretty good. You just run around, do a big yam on a bunch of boys, and start whipping the sledgy around, or frag it and then charge at them. Crazy high impact damage. I think a lot of you will like this one. And finally, we'll probably have the most common choice for all new players and all players currently in finals. The most played build is the light build. Exceptionally fast but low survivability, executes hit and run tactics, specializes in stealth and evasion. My personal favorite build. I have the most playtime using light. Now this build is definitely controversial, whether it's for beginners or not, but if you can get it right, you can't go wrong, especially when comboed with the other two builds I mentioned. I call this light build the Snitch. For the specialization, we have evasive dash, a few quick dashes to close the distance or dodge out of harm's way. Basically hit R1, boom, boom, boom. Very nice for in battles with people. You can dash to the side while shooting. People can't keep up with you. It's also great movement, makes you pretty quick going around the map. Weapon, we have the M11, fast firing, fully automatic machine pistol with 40 mag size, reload speed of 1.7 seconds. Most people would say for a beginner build, Josh, why don't you have them on grapple hook and XP? Because I don't give a frick. And I feel like dash, you can kind of master a little bit easier than grapple. And the M11 has way better hip fire than the XP. Now here's where we get a little saucy on this build, where I throw a little bit of my flavor in here. First gadget, thermal vision, reveals heat signatures. Why would you want thermal vision, Josh? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because another guys we're gonna run is smoke grenade. Thrown projectile that emits smoke when it explodes, blocking lines of sight and extinguishing fire. Biggest thing with this build, you smoke up a room and you use thermal vision. No one can see but you unless they have a sonar. Keep that in mind. Now you know why it's called the Snitch. Our final gadget, breach charge, highly destructive, deployable explosive that can be remotely detonated. This is great for getting it through some walls. If they goo up a cash out, you guys can break a bunch of the walls, throw smokes in there. You're basically you're a threat. You're a huge threat with this build. If you and your team are attacking a point, you breach a wall, you throw smokes in, and then pop thermal, start beaming dudes, get them all low. Then your heavy can go in there with the medium and finish them off if you don't already finish them. There you have it. 3 builds that I think if you're just hopping into the finals fresh, whether it's on PC, PS5, or PS4, welcome. Try one of these builds out. Let me know what you think. You can't go wrong with these builds. Until the next time I see ya, I'm out. Yeah, I was a janitor.